this game. Man, I can't believe we're running around the entire continent, right guys? Wait, if we're riding chocobos, then who's piloting the airship? And then the Warriors of Light got airship jacked. Serves them right for leaving the keys in the thing. Whatever, nerd. Pictured here, things way more interesting than what actually happens in the game. Okay, either they're fighting a weird-looking CGI behemoth, or Red 13 lost a lot of hair. All but one of these job classes are ones I don't use on each of these characters, and it's bugging me. None of this is canon. Game intro, why aren't you bending to my will? Come on. Look, if you've got nothing interesting to establish, don't use an establishing shot. Seagulls for dinner again. Man, being trapped on this boat for my entire life sucks. God, if you're listening, could I have a good meal for once? Ha 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 ha! No. Please note, this looks a lot less weird when you have a DS format that's actually correct. These people look way too excited to be in this game. Pictured here, one of the 4 crystals that keeps the world alive. Not rock candy. Please stop trying to eat it. This is Final Fantasy III for the Nintendo DS, a remake of the original game on the NES. Like Final Fantasy II, this game was never initially released overseas, and also like that game, this one's a bit of an experiment, but one that worked out a bit better than that one did. After all, this is the game that created the job system, which would later be used in games such as Final Fantasy V, Tactics, 10-2, and Bravely Default. And you know, most people like most of those games, so job system? Pretty good. However, this version of the job system is very dated, and the remake really doesn't help it at all, and in fact, a lot of people think that this version is actually inferior to the original NES version. However, if I had to choose between a lackluster remake and an NES RPG, I'd choose the lackluster remake. But either way, we start off the game with some dork falling through the ceiling. I must admit though, that was a pretty good landing. I mean, I thought he was going to fall on his back for a moment there, but nope, fell right on his feet. Then again, it'd be a bit anticlimactic if he broke his back in the first few seconds. So this is our main character, Lunith. I guess that's a decent name, but let's go with something else. As per tradition, I'm going to name him Dan. He's going to be really smug and be bad at Hadoukening. Nah, just kidding, it's Dante. So, now that he's in here, Dante's just gonna explore this poorly textured cave and see if he can find anything other than bones, and oh no, we're being mugged by a goblin! Actually, 3 goblins. Though, even though there are 3, these guys are very easy to take down. See how we just did 7 damage? They have 7 HP. We can't not kill them in one hit, and they don't do much damage. You'd have to be trying to lose this fight, and, well, quite frankly, I'm not going to try to lose to goblins, that would be terrible. The one nice thing about Final Fantasy III is that there are actually little finishing animations, He did that little knife spin there. Most attack animations when you're about to deal the final blow are spins, but a few weapons do have slightly different animations, and oh, well, Dante looks pretty winded after that really difficult fight with the goblins. Whew, didn't think we was gonna make it. We better check our inventory real quick and see if we have anything to help us. Unfortunately, though, we don't have any items, so no potions for us at the moment. That'll change soon, of course. We also don't have any magic. I'll explain the magic system later, and oh boy, that'll be fun. We've got equipment, but only 2 pieces at the moment. We'll equip more stuff later. You have your overall stats, looking very samey at the moment. Here we have formation. You do more damage, but take more damage in the front, and in the back, you receive less damage, but deal out less as well. And also, turn on run. Just default to run. Otherwise, if you hold the B button, you can run, or in this case, now I walk if I hold the B button. We get a leather shield and a potion. So we're just going to equip this shield real quick. That'll also appear on our character during battle. Armor, however, does not. Probably for a very specific reason, but we have a sword and a shield, which means we are very equipped to handle these really weak goblins. Yeah, that rock does look quite out of place, indicating, of course, that it will remove that wall. And when I say remove, I mean remove. It just took it out of existence, man. Brutal. Feel bad for that wall. And we get a longsword, so now we can kill those very tough goblins even faster. Hopefully we get a hat or some gloves later, but for the time being I'm pretty sure we're very well equipped. Oh yeah, by the way, you're probably going to notice when I cut out random battles in this game, just because when you get into a random battle, the camera actually shifts. You won't notice it here though, because these are new enemies that I want to fight. Fang and Carbuncle. Their stats are slightly higher than goblins, but you should still be able to take them out in one hit, especially if you get that longsword before fighting any. And that takes care of that. There is one more enemy left in this cave that we haven't fought yet that's a little tougher, but not by much at all. Now, of course, people who are familiar with the NES version will notice a major difference. Oh, wait, but before we get to that, here's the other enemy. That's the Blue Wisp, probably the toughest enemy in here. Takes 2 hits to kill, whoa, because it's got an entire 14 HP. That's like 2 goblins put together, man. But anyway, if you have played or are familiar with the NES version, in the original game you actually started out with all 4 of your characters, whereas because this game actually tries to add a bit of story, you get your characters pretty soon, but they are spread out. And another difference is, we're actually freelancers at the start of the game, whereas in the original, the main characters started out as Onion Knights. I will be explaining the difference later, but just know that at the start of the game that really doesn't matter. Can't use much magic. We do have a pretty good selection of items to use, but all in all, there's nothing too special about these classes. Of course, I guess having only one character might add a little bit of difficulty, but not terribly much, honestly. We also have this spring here, and this one recovers HP and MP. You'll see almost none of these throughout the game. There are like 3, and I'm not really exaggerating. There's another type of spring in the game, but we'll be getting to that later. More importantly, though, we have this room. Looks really weird, and the music's different, so must be important, right? Yep, sure is a room. Oh no, purple dandruff! We're gonna have to fight Primids, aren't we? Hate these things. So we've got our first boss in the game. Dude, that's a tortoise. So yes, the land turtle here has 111 HP, 8 attack, 6 defense, 20 experience, and 500 gil, as well as no real elemental weaknesses. So it is a fairly easy boss, especially if you use those Antarctic winds you found, but personally I'd suggest saving them because they will come in a bit more useful for a later boss. Not too much later, obviously, because if it was too much later, we'd have even better methods for dealing with bosses, but either way though, in that case, This'll only take attacking him a whole bunch of times and he'll go down. He really doesn't have any tricks outside of snapping his jaw at you, and somehow we managed to miss him? I really don't know how he managed to not hit the gigantic turtle that takes up basically the entire room. Well, that entire half the area. Either way though, it's a big turtle. How did you not hit it? Oh man, though, we're getting pretty low on health. Oh no. I'm thinking we better use a potion before we die horribly. I wouldn't want to lose to the first boss after all. Haven't even saved yet. Alright. Place your bets. How much does anyone want to bet that this attack will kill him? Yep, it killed him. We spun. And that takes care of that first boss. He was not difficult at all. And really, I could have just attacked him one more time. So the nice thing about this game is, it still gives you experience for boss battles, which later games tend not to do. And we're winded after that fight, as well. So many turtle bites. So very painful. So what's talking to us? This big ol' crystal. Hey, Wind Crystal, how's it going? You were kinda absent from the last game. On the bright side though, at least Tiamat's not guarding this Wind Crystal. Man, how nice of the crystal to teleport us back out here. At last, the blue sky, we meet again. I thought I was going to die in there thanks to all those goblins. Didn't think I'd be able to beat all of them. There was like one at a time after I beat 3 of them. And then Dante went home and did nothing about this because he had no context for this whatsoever. Nah, we're not even going to go home just yet. I mean, we're not going to ignore our destiny or whatever, but we also need to collect items in this cave, so we can't even go home to pack or anything just yet. I mean, really, do we even need to pack? Everything we need are in these chests. We don't need food or water. This is a video game. It's also not Deadly Premonition either. So, equip that stuff. Just gonna get a whole lot of equipment, which you could buy. You know, you could do that, but you could also get equipment for cheap here. Oh no, we've been back attacked by a goblin! Oh, whatever will we do? Oh, you don't do any damage because we're in the back row and you're just so weak that it completely negates the attack. I mean, we can't kill this goblin in one hit now, but he's still not doing any damage, so yeah, good job there, Goblin. You got the drop on me, it just didn't help you at all. Anyway, as I was saying before, though, most of this equipment is going to be obsolete very, very soon, so collect it now while it's still useful. You probably won't even bother coming back here because you might not think that there's anything useful in this cave, but there is. This stuff will come in a bit useful. Don't, however, jump down that hole because that will lead you back to the beginning of the dungeon where we started this game. So that begs the question, how did we see sunlight coming through the hole at the start if the hole is in a cave? Also, how did Dante fall down that hole? Was he just walking along and it just opened up, or what? Is he just really clumsy? These are questions we're going to have to ask next time on Final Fantasy III when we actually go home. See that village right there? Yeah, that's where we're going.